Hello, my name is Jonathan Jackson, and I hope I may take a few minutes of your time to share with you what motivates me to want to work for Choice Humanitarian. I think what motivates me the most to want to pursue a career in a humanitarian organization stems from how I was raised throughout my formative years. I was very active in scouting and eventually became an Eagle Scout, and I also participated in fundraising activities for medical missions for an organization called Operation Smile. Seeing the before and after pictures of these medical procedures and hearing about the difference it made in people's lives had a deep impact on me. These experiences of contributing in some small way to the improvement of people and society planted a seed in me with a desire to work on humanitarian efforts. This prompted a strong desire to develop an understanding of international affairs. During college, I decided to major in economics. I found economics very interesting because it deepened my knowledge of the complexities of the modern world. We learned how poverty has impacted societies throughout history, and I came across a photograph of a migrant mother pictured with 3 of her 7 children. This picture made such an impact on me that I displayed it in my house and also at my office as a reminder to work every day to do whatever I can to help improve upon these global economic challenges. My career aspirations eventually took me to Washington, D.C. While there, I worked as primary staff member to General Jim Jones. He's the former Commandant of the Marine Corps, the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, and he eventually became National Security Advisor to President Obama. I traveled extensively with General Jones and was his personal liaison to dozens of organizations, many of which were non-governmental groups that focused on issues of major significance, including extreme poverty. I had the opportunity to meet various dignitaries from around the world as we worked to shape global policy to spur economic growth. I was impressed to watch how great an impact people of influence can have. One organization in which I particularly enjoyed working with was the Middle East Children's Institute, whose mission is to address the educational, psychosocial, health, and other basic humanitarian needs of Middle Eastern children and women, both war-torn and impoverished areas. I certainly believe that with a lot of work and dedication, extreme poverty can end. Extreme poverty is the greatest humanitarian crisis of our time. We have the opportunity to shape a world in which all people live in an environment where they can make meaningful choices to engage in healthy behaviors, able to feed and nourish their families, cope with natural disasters, and overcome other challenges like access to good schools, healthcare, electricity, and safe water. The international community has a goal of ending extreme poverty by 2030. To reach this target, many more resources and massive global investment will be necessary. There is a chart that illustrates that between 1970 and 2010, the worst poverty in the world decreased by 80%. This is one of the greatest achievements in human history, but for some reason, we never really hear about it. So what contributed to this major accomplishment? I believe it was the hard work of public and private organizations and a multitude of non-governmental groups, like Choice Humanitarian, that are actively working to alleviate the poorest of the poor of their deprivation. I can appreciate that Choice Humanitarian prides itself on keeping its staff small and getting big results. It is inspiring to see a staff that is dedicated to such a noble mission, bringing us closer to a world without poverty. I can see Choice Humanitarian becoming a leader in the international community dedicated to solving extreme poverty. I can see it listed among other groups, like the organization Bono from the band U2 co-founded, called One. I had the opportunity to work with the Atlantic Council on improving U.S.-European cooperation to addressing critical global issues. We worked with Bono to promote awareness of eradicating poverty and disease and presented to him the award for Distinguished International Leadership because of his visionary, courageous, and tireless work and advocacy to resolve some of the most pressing and urgent global challenges of our time. I also want to work with the Choice Humanitarian team to help promote and fund public awareness campaigns. Choice Humanitarian is in a unique position with the flexibility and resources around the world to help align efforts of the private sector and global citizens. This is what motivates me to work with the Choice Humanitarian team, to work with like-minded individuals, to leverage my relationships, and work with donors and partners to connect these poor villages to the resources and tools to break the cycle of poverty. I really hope to see this happen within our generation. Thank you.